everyone, and welcome to another mini sky tonight. So here we are into the month of June, and I decided now would be a good time as any, now that the skies are starting to clear up a little bit, to be able to show you some of the things you can see in the nighttime sky right now, as well as to give you a heads up of some of the planets that you can see, and some of the new constellations that are starting to make their debut as the summer months roll in. So let's take a look. So here I am using Stellarium again, and if you face towards the west, you'll notice a couple of bright stars that kind of encircle around this one bright star. The star in the center is actually the planet Mercury, and these circular brights of stars, right here is the star Procyon, which is in the constellation Canis Minor, the little dog, and Capella, which is in the constellation Auriga, the charioteer. So over here are your wintertime constellations that are slowly starting to set towards the sun. But right off of the northwestern horizon, you can see the planet Mercury. But looking towards the southeast, you'll see the bright, beautiful moon, which is close to full right now. So you can see the moon as it starts to rise. In fact, I recommend if you have a pair of binoculars or a small telescope, zoom in on this awesome celestial object. In fact, here we go. So if you're looking closely at the moon, you can see some of the different craters, as well as some of the different areas that are dark versus light. The dark areas what are known as Maria, which is Latin for the term seas, because the ancient mariners believed, oh, there's oceans on the moon. Well, not really. They're actually old lava flows from when impact craters impacted the moon long ago. But you can see all the different features on the moon, as well as you can take a look at a better appreciation for our close celestial object. So let's mosey into the later part of the night and look at some of the summertime constellations. So right now I have it just a little after 9 o'clock, just right after sunset. So let's take a look at some of the nighttime constellations. So here we are roughly around about midnight. And over here towards the southeast, we have some of the summertime constellations starting to rise. This J-shaped constellation right next to the moon is the constellation Scorpius the Scorpion. To the Polynesians, they call this Maui's fishhook. So for you fans that are Disney fans of the movie Moana, this is the constellation that they were referring to. So they did indeed get a constellation right. And then you have the bright star Antares, which is the heart of the scorpion. It is a huge supergiant star that can explode any time between now and the next few million years. Yeah, I know it's a long stretch of time, but when you're talking about the stability of a star, they work on a time scale much different from how you and me work on a time scale. Right next to the constellation Scorpius the Scorpion is this kind of teapot-shaped constellation right here. It's the constellation Sagittarius. Yes, he's supposed to represent a half-man, half-horse kind of guy, but again, I call it a teapot because here's the spout, here's the lid, here's the handle. And you see these little things in the program Stellarium, which talks about all these different meteor showers. So yes, you can turn on meteor showers during the program, but keep in mind that some of these meteor showers are incredibly faint. Like you won't see very many during the night. Usually the big ones are your Perseids, your Perseids, Leonids, and Orionids. Those are tend to usually be your brightest ones. But again, in order to be able to see some of these, you have to have a moonless night, far away from the city lights, and have a lot of patience to look for different streaks across the sky. Nonetheless, right above Scorpius and Sagittarius is this unique fellow right here, and he's a rather large constellation. This is Ophiuchus, which is some people call him the doctor, or some people call him the snake holder, but he's supposed to represent the first physician. As many of you recognize, the symbol for medicine is often a staff with wings and two serpents swirling around. In Greek mythology, that was the staff of Hermes, where he would go quickly being the messenger of the gods, but sometimes he would be a healer as well. But Ophiuchus represents the first physician who realized that the snakes can be used for medicine. In fact, many of the medicines that we use today come from snakes. Nonetheless, over down here, you'll see two bright stars. In fact, let's take off the constellation lines. And you'll notice these two bright stars close to the horizons. Those are Jupiter and Saturn, the planets that we can normally only a while back see during the early morning sky. They're now starting to make their debut later into the evening. So you can now start to see them over the course of the summer months. And they're relatively close together. Over here towards the east, you'll see these three bright stars that kind of form a triangle. You have Vega, Deneb, and Altair. These three stars form what is known as the summer triangle, or the navigator's triangle. These three stars in particular are often used by navigators as guides to be able to help them to navigate the oceans with. And these three stars are in different constellations. The top star, Vega, is a part of the constellation Lyra, the lyre. L-Y-R-E, not L-I-A-R. It's a harp. Hidden within the constellation Lyra, right between these two stars, is a really unique object. In fact, if you have a pair of binoculars or a small telescope, I recommend zooming in on this area. You'll see this little wispy cloud on a clear, moonless night. Oh, forgot to pause the sky. So that's one of the things you have to do with stellarium, is make sure you pause the sky, because if you zoom in, the sky will keep moving. So this unique feature is called the Ring Nebula, or M57, as it's sometimes denoted. The Ring Nebula is a telltale sign of what will happen to our star when it passes away. Our star is going through a process called nuclear fusion, where lighter elements are being rammed together to form light, heat, and energy. Well, eventually it's going to run out of the hydrogen to start to fuse. So it'll start then to fuse the helium that it created. And then it will start going into carbon, and then nitrogen, and then oxygen. Eventually it's going to start to run out of fuel to be able to fuse. So what it'll do is it'll collapse down its core as tightly as possible to try to keep fusing, but then puff out its outer shell because it doesn't need it anymore. Creating like this cosmic ash ball, or cocoon, or tomb, as I like to call it, around the dying star in the center. In fact, the little white star in the center that you can see right there is the remnants of the core of the original star. Oop, went too far. There we go. The bottom left star of the navigator's triangle is called Deneb, which is a part of the constellation Cygnus, the swan. At the tip nose of Cygnus is a really unique star. It's a double star system, and it's called Alberio, but it's often nicknamed the Cub Scout star. Let's see if we can zoom in on the star pair, and we can see if we can see the two stars. Yes, we can. Now, the colors aren't really represented very well here, but if you look at images of these two stars, you get to see two unique colors. One is deep gold and the other is a bright blue, and these two are a binary star system. Most stars are multiple star systems. Our sun just happens to be unique that it's alone by itself. But the two colors represent the different temperatures of the stars, and in fact it's sometimes often called the Cub Scout star because of the colors of the stars. So as you can kind of see, sometimes when I zoom out, you see, oh, what's that cool feature over there? Well, in this area where the constellation Cygnus is flowing through, it's flying down the Milky Way galaxy. So you're going to see a bunch of different nebulas and stuff around this area. including around in here between Scorpius and Sagittarius. There's a bunch of unique objects in there as well, including the Omega Nebula, the Cat Eye clusters, and so on. There's several different objects in this area. And I mentioned earlier what is denoted as, like, for the Ring Nebula is M57. Now, that designation refers to an astronomer known as Charles Messier. Charles Messier was a French astronomer who lived around about the time of Halley, who discovered the famous comet, Halley's Comet, that comes around every so many years. And Charles Messier wanted to discover his own comet. So he scoured the night sky looking for anything that could possibly be a comet. And he come across these unique objects. These unique objects stayed there over a long period of time, and he recorded them. Eventually he denoted them, okay, this is not a comet, and he denoted its location and labeled it as an object in his list. So object number 1 was this at this location, and it's not a comet. In fact, he came up with about 110 unique objects that were not comets. And believe it or not, he was now known for his not a comet list rather than actually finding a comet. Well, at least, you know, it helps us to be able to navigate the nighttime sky and to catalog things. Nonetheless, going back to the summer triangle here, the bottom right star of the summer triangle, or the navigator's triangle, is called Altair, which represents the constellation Aquila, the eagle. Now, I don't necessarily see an eagle out of this. I sometimes see a stingray, but you can call it what you will. So these are some of the unique constellations you can see up in the nighttime sky right now, roughly around about midnight. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below. If there's any particular topic or area you would like me to discuss, or if you'd like me to do a live Sky Tonight presentation, I'd be happy to do so as well. Just leave it down in the comments below. Also, for you students, if you are interested in learning unique stuff over the summer, as well as getting a badge, a virtual badge that is, futurereadysa.org is a unique site that allows you to go to different areas of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and so on, and gives you activities that you could do at home and get some badges along the way. Like, for example, I helped create an activity, a couple of activities on there for astronomy. So if you are interested in doing some of those fun activities from home while you're stuck at home for the summertime, by all means, try them out. My favorite one is the sun cookies. So if you want to have something edible and educational, I recommend checking out those. Nonetheless, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, never stop learning. Hope to hear from you soon.